You're live.
Understand. Elvis is in the building. Meaning you.
All right, welcome everybody. This is the meeting of the Planning Board, Wednesday, February 19th, 2025. First order of business is called to order.
Rupert Friday.
Here.
Thomas Callahan.
Here.
Dr. O'Neill.
Here.
Jerry Brunetta.
Here.
Mark Brady.
Here.
Mr. Chairman, you have a full board. You have a quorum.
So we have a quorum. All right, Chairman announcements. Do I have announcements?
Gabriel,
What do I have?
You do.
I do? What do I what's that? Yes. Speaking of trouble.
Oh, gosh. Guilty as charged.
I feel like this is like a reunion.
I just want to remind you that you have 2 items off the agenda in case anyone is here for those 2
Yeah,
items.
so we have 2 items off. We're Gabriel Platt, NR lot 1910 Clara Lane, and Kitson Plot NS lots 36 and 37, 63 Colonel John Gardner off the board tonight.
What was the first one, sir?
First one was Gabriel Platt, NR.
Oh, Gabriel, yeah.
19, okay.
All right.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
Irish accent.
Would Joe, would you like to do the honors and introduce our new addition?
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to. So for everyone on our board, so I'll just run through. We have Mark Brady, Dr. O'Neill, Jerry Brunetto, Rupert Friday, and Tom Callahan. Folks, this is Amanda Awaz, I'm pronouncing it correctly. She's our newest planning technician.
Hello.
So please welcome her.
I will.
Thank you.
Amanda, you'll find we're very casual, so, all right.
I missed your first name. I have hard of hearing.
Amanda.
Amanda.
He can't hear either.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. We have Rhode Island Ethics Training presented by Lynn Ratchis, March 11th, 6 p.m., Narragansett Town Hall Assembly. All right, ethics training is strongly encouraged for all elected and appointed officials every 1 to 2 years. My recommendation, even if you did it last year, which I think all of us did, go again. It's just a good thing. All right.
Does that imply that we all need ethics training?
It's always a
Just
good
a question.
It's always good a reminder. I do want to congratulate this board because you know, the whole conflict of interest thing. We look at the law, but we've all looked at it as perception is stronger than truth at times. And I'm very proud of everybody who has said, look, I don't have a direct conflict here, but this could be perceived. And I think that's strong in today's day and age, unfortunately. It was old hat back when I was a younger lad. We have an appointment. We have Coastal Access Improvement Committee, appointment of a planning board member as a planning board representative of the Coastal Access Improvement Committee. It's for a 3-year term, March 2nd, 2025 to March 1st, 2028. Do I have a nominee?
I'd like to nominate Mr. Brady.
Well, as I am doing it, and I've been enjoying doing it, I would accept that nomination. There's a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, appreciate it. All right, we have site review.
You missed one.
I did miss one.
What?
Oh, mixed-use ordinance, discussion and possible action for a subcommittee. Yeah, this is key. So we presented our mixed use with the affordable to in a work session with the town council. They came back, both sides came back and forth with some good questions and recommendations, and can we possibly do this? So we would like, I would like to put together a subcommittee rather than the entire board doing this. I think it's a better use of time and more effective. The goal here, though, is to turn this around as fast as we can and get it back to them. That was a commitment we had made to them, but it's also something that we've been pushing this for a while, and I didn't realize that this started like 90 years ago with the land trust, and so it was a passion of mine when it came to the board. So I'm thinking 2 people. That keeps it legal. If people are interested in that.
Chairman, I'm interested in it.
Okay.
Started working on it already, actually.
Yep. Anybody else?
I'll be happy to join you.
Okay.
There we go.
All right. Is the board in favor?
Yes.
Comments, questions?
No.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. So I will turn over my notes because I've already started working on this. As I said, it's a passion of mine, and I'll turn all of that stuff over to you guys. But again, we want it done right. We want it done thorough, but time is of the essence because we'd really like to turn this
Time
around.
will be up.
Okay.
So the other thing, Chairman, is there's legislation proposed to talk about mixed-use ordinance this year, and I think what we had discussed before and are needing to tweak because of the last legislative changes,
Yeah.
I think will meet what I've seen at least as a draft of legislation, so I think we're okay.
Good. So for the audience that don't know, the state legislature has, in the last couple of years, really revamped zoning subdivision laws, etc. Last year, they changed things. A lot of it was based on stuff that was implemented and feedback from communities, including this community, about, this doesn't quite work out this way. Did you guys think about that? So my hat's off to them. My understanding at this point in time, there's at least 11 different ordinances coming. So some of them may just be, and I'm guessing some of them will probably be tweaks to what's already there, but there may be new. So, and when the large ones came in '04, we were the first town, my understanding is, to get it in, and we got it in on time. So again, another feather in our hat. So brag whenever we can. All right. Any other business on this end of things? Site reviews. Okay, this is what everybody came for. All right. First up, SVN Company LLC, Plat NR Lot 1033, 6 of Algonquin. And
May I ask,
yes.
is this material any different than this material?
No. This came in. This came in this morning.
So it's a little different.
February
It's a little
18th.
different.
It is a little
February
different. It's a little
It
different.
is a little different. No, because his has the 13th. I didn't know if his had the 18th. It is a little different. Okay.
Brian, you got your report. What was it?
Yeah, there's just some subsequent changes to the amount of bedrooms being requested. It went from 2 to 1. It was just a miss on my part.
Go again?
It's a subsequent change for the amount of bedrooms being requested.
Right.
Instead of there being 2 to make it a
Right.
5th bedroom, it's only 1.
It's only
And
one,
that
right.
was missed in the
You get a
previous
fourth
report.
bed.
Yeah.
All right. So, 6 Algonquin Trail, summary, the applicant has submitted a request to legalize the construction of a rear yard deck with steps, a rear yard addition, and the creation of a additional bedroom. So this is an existing home that an addition was built on without permits, and subsequently the owner bought it. It originally had 5 bedrooms. The owner got building permits to do some work, and then was told he needed to come visit us. Nobody prepared him, but I hope we were
Yeah,
constructive with you.
I did, I went from enthusiastic to shocked
No,
to
you were-
then
you were fine.
informed.
Yeah,
you know,
you were fine.
But we are, I mean, you really are trying
Yeah,
to.
no
do
problem.
everything.
All right, so the improvements, legalize the prior construction of an attached rear yard deck with steps, a 13 by 14 rear yard addition, and the creation of one additional bedroom, removal of the 5th unpermitted bedroom in the finished basement, removal of 10 feet in length of existing rear yard deck to comply with the rear yard setback, remove the existing 10 by 10 rear yard shed. Proposed building lot coverage is approximately 1,305 square feet, which is 26.1%. The proposed site coverage is approximately 2,686 square feet, which is 53%. The lot does not comply with dimensional regulations of section 6.4B, as the FAR for this project was calculated at .42, 2,102 square feet. A maximum of .35 or 1,750 square feet is permitted in the lot. The lot also does not comply with the maximum hardscape, 43%. Requirement is 60% is proposed for the minimum softscape and 50% requirement. All right. I think it should be noted, and the staff does a nice job of noting this, that a hardship wasn't created by this person. It was created by, they just bought it and inherited it. The dilemma that we presented to you, and this gentleman was kind enough to take a step back and come back, is that our fear is that there's a lot of these out there.
Yeah.
And so when we have to deal with this, especially where you had a 5-bedroom, we become the precedent for things going forward. And so, again, for those who have never been before us, we try to balance your needs with the town's requirements and state requirements and the state needs. And we try very hard to do that.
And I will say too, we take full ownership that we knew that there was a lot of problems. I think that's why the house came in at so low. We put a lot of money in and worked with Wayne and Troy to make sure it was at least up to code. Learned a lot from what you folks told me last time, and so we're hoping to make some concessions to get to that happy medium.
Yep.
There's also a suggestion in there, I think Ryan may have made it, about reducing some of the driveway size.
Yep.
And we're totally up for that too, because it gets things a little closer to regulation.
All right, so let's get formal as we get. If you can introduce yourself and your role in this, and I gave a Reader's Digest if you can give some details.
Sure, yeah, Tom Wally Musto, my fiance and I are R7 SPN Co. We purchased the house in March of 2023. When we purchased the house, we noted that it was a low price, and we noted both the issues that the previous owner had caused as well as the current condition of the house. And if you look at some of the older pictures of the house, there was no siding. The deck was kind of in a little bit of shambles. Every room on the inside needed work. And so we started the process of working very closely with the town. We brought Wayne in right away. He gave us some thoughts on what we needed to do to at least get things up to code. And so we took those steps through permits. And wrongly assumed that if we were being approved for permits, that meant everybody thinks it's awesome. And it's amazing how good you can feel about a reasonable proposal until you hear a board read it back to you. And you say, that might actually be unreasonable. So anyway, yeah, our intention for the house is we rent it to college students during the school year, and then we live in it during the summer. That's pretty much what we were able to do last year, which was great. We're looking to make some concessions to hopefully get to this happy medium of reducing the footprint of the house, reducing the hardscape, and then the request to increase by 1 bedroom to 4 bedrooms is important to us. We're together, we have 5 kids, so in the summer it's important. 5 kids, all of them are boys except one, and except 4 actually. So you can imagine that we need the space. And our overall intentions are to be long-term parts of the Narragansett community. I currently live in North Providence, but we did purchase the lot next door, where hopefully we'll be in front of you sometime 2026 talking about planning for a structure there.
Doc, questions?
Yeah.
I feel like I ruined the doctor's day last
Yeah.
time. That's my first indication that things were not going to
Yeah. The drawing that you presented to us in this for this presentation is, well, pretty much creates a problem because you changed the word in the down in the basement from a bedroom to an office. Is that the second level? Yeah, that's down the basement.
That's first
Yeah.
level, yeah, first level, you got it.
Yeah, and left the closet there. So this board always recognizes those structures or spaces as a bedroom. So changing the word from a bedroom to an office doesn't accomplish.
We do also increase the entryway, so that there's no door, we make that longer. I guess it's not really pointed out there, but that is what's happening, we're increasing that to, I think the regulations.
4
6
feet.
4 feet,
To attempt
so 4 feet.
have it not be used as a bedroom.
Correct, yeah.
And then the next level up, do we go back to your original presentation for that, or I didn't see anything?
There are no changes on this floor
Packet.
besides the deck, which is not shown here. Yeah, the deck is what we would take 10 feet off of. This looks like the original, possibly. So we're gonna take 10 feet off of the back. Is the plan there? Yeah, deck area to be removed.
The other question I'd ask you about is the area right here next to this is coming off, right?
Yeah, 10 feet of that is coming off, correct.
Okay. So 10 feet of it's coming off, but this right here still sticks out, right? What's the distance there?
That says 3, I think it's this here, 3 feet, 3 inches.
Yeah, right there.
Can you zoom in on that, please?
Say again?
This here.
Before all these lights go nuts.
Whoa, that helps.
Yeah, so I think
I
this is
have no.
the space.
Well, something I would like to point out to people is that for a fire person to run around a house with that pack on their back, they require at least 5 feet to make it safe. And if you're doing things there, and we are having this conversation, you might say, well, what difference does it make, because this is open right now, right?
Yes.
And when the chain link fence goes up, that's the end of access on that side of the house for an emergency. So when we have an opportunity like this and you're redoing the deck anyway, I have a very hard time, because of my background, going along or sanctioning areas like that are narrow.
Okay.
That's all for now.
Okay,
Just thinking things over.
sure.
So we're going from a 3-bedroom to a 4-bedroom.
Correct, right, yeah. The rooms are up to code as far as fire goes with the egress. If you wanna go to the first floor, that kind of shows what we're thinking of.
Can we go back to the basement?
Possibly.
Well, it's not actually a basement, it is actually ground level.
Right, yeah, it's a little, yeah, it's ground level. So we would keep these two here. And they both have this window here, I always forget the name of it, it's the crank out, it's not the double hung, and same thing with this window here. This office now does have a crank here and then a double hung here.
Well, the addition is there, and it's been there. I have less of a problem with that than the bedrooms. I still see the same amount of bedrooms. I see the office $300 away from turning into a bedroom again. So, I don't know about my support for this, but Mr. Friday has some valuable insight that might help.
Okay, if there's anything else we can do in the office, like, I don't know, we just wanna be up and up, we know we've gotta make concessions, we know we had heard of something that
Okay.
wasn't right.
Don't have
So,
to, you know.
so I guess I have a question, couple questions. One is, so with the deck removed, the way I understood this, and Ryan, maybe it's a question for you. So it creates a rear yard setback of 14.1 feet and 14.5 feet is required, so why are we not just making?
Oh, yeah,
it
we
so
can, we wanna be, I don't know, the report, I thought it said that we accommodated the need for rear, but if it's gotta be an extra 5 inches, we can update that. But that's the goal, is to make
Yeah,
it.
0.4 feet.
Yeah,
Whatever.
yeah, that's the goal, to make
Okay.
it, so we can remove that, and also it takes down the hardscape a bit.
Yeah, and I think something I found in my neighborhood, people don't understand the reason for the high water table overlay and hardscape, softscape. So, Jill, could you explain the background of why we have the high water table overlay?
Sure, it's one of our environmental overlays. It does a variety of things. Number one, it helps the town and building to regulate impervious surfaces in areas where the water table is less than 36 inches below the surface of the ground. So that helps with water quality recharge, stormwater, flooding, and the town tracks impervious surfaces in a high water table overlay district. They track the lot coverage, which folks would normally think is building, just your building, in two different forms. Building coverage, so all your structures, you know, your house, your shed, your garage, your decks, and then in another category is all your impervious surfaces. So your open sun deck, so in this case, Mr. Gusto's open sun deck wouldn't be counted toward his site coverage, but if he had an asphalt driveway or an impervious driveway, it would be.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think that goes to Ryan's comments on the staff report about reducing the pervious
Yes,
surface.
and we're good with that, yeah.
And I don't know how to deal with the FAR in the bedrooms. I have the same concern about the bedrooms as Jerry does. In the couple of years I've been on the planning board, the number of rooms that I've seen labeled as storage and other things that are bedrooms, in fact, around town is pretty significant. And I guess the FAR, I mean, the only solution I see there is, since you own the lot next door, is joining the lots, that would make that go away. Yeah.
Would you consider that?
Consider, yes. Although I think we're gonna see what we get back with regards to the footprint we're trying to put on this lot, and then we'll see kind of what makes sense, overall. Does that hold water?
Well, if you, go ahead, if you adjoin the lots, then he's okay, right?
Oh, yeah,
Most-
that makes the FAR issue go away.
And then you have your bedrooms.
Yeah.
Until we go into the FAR.
And it's less of an issue for the pervious surfaces as well, because you have plenty of the adjacent lots not pervious. So.
Yeah.
So we're asking questions on this other lot. This is one I had, I'm gonna dive in now. You say, obviously you're gonna build on the other lot. Is that gonna be a rental also?
No, so that, our dream is we live here, and that's the one that we're in.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. All right. For those here and those at home, the one person we have, at FAR, we keep talking about FAR, it's floor area ratio. So our rules change over time, they evolve based on what's happening. We had a period where suddenly, if you don't know, Narragansett is a very attractive place for investors to come in because you get a unique thing. You get URI during the school year, and then you get weekly rentals in the summer. It's very lucrative. I tip my hat to anybody who's doing it. But what suddenly happened is we were ending up with 5, 6, 7 bedroom homes. And neighbors were starting to see their neighborhoods disappear. The character of the neighborhoods, they had no complaints with people improving their homes. but the character of the neighborhoods were starting to disappear. They were starting to get these mini dorms going. The other thing too, it created a huge gap for us in our affordable housing, because skyrocketing land values, which works out great for some people, but there are people in the town who are barely hanging on to their homes because as the property values rise, so do their taxes and their unfixed incomes. So it was a long study, I think it was like a year and a half, year plus study of looking at floor area ratio, which comes out of commercial. That's, a lot of the malls will use those, or plazas will use those, so they don't have to permit a new business. It's like, we have 40% retail, we have 40% office, whatever it might be, and as long as it's the same use, they go. And what we look at is the size, and there's a table and a calculation, it's no secret, the size of the lot, and there's a percentage ratio of how much living space that lot can accommodate. So it allows for growth, it mitigates the impact on the neighbors, and we've tried to form a balance on it. And so there's been some growing pains on it, and we have situations, and I'll address FAR on this, and my perspective of FAR on this. But I just wanted everybody to know and understand. I did, Counselor, I do a good job on that one.
So,
All right, so, any more questions? Rupert?
No, I think, yeah, I think those are my questions.
Okay.
And thank you for, coming back with the changes.
Yeah, I
Trying to make it work.
Ryan and Heidi have been awesome. I don't know, we could probably seem very elementary with the questions that we asked, but they've been very helpful.
Yeah, great. Tom? Floor is yours.
I just want to clarify one thing. You said that you're going to live there year round. You're going to build over here, hopefully, if you're able to build over here.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sorry, that's not over there. You're able to build over there. You plan to basically construct the house that'll be a rental house and you live permanently there.
Oh, no, opposite.
Opposite.
We live in the new house.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to be sure about that. This house right now, is it on the state short-term rental registry?
Yes. Yeah.
And it's on there it will be on there for 4 bedrooms, that's what you're saying?
No, right now it's 3. Right.
But it would be for 4.
Yeah, if this were.
Okay. Thank you.
Staff? Do you have anything to add?
I just, a quick clarifying question. When you mentioned the rear yard setback, were you saying that, could you just rehash that?
Yeah,
real
so
quick?
your notes were that it was going to be
Proposed at 14.1 now.
14.1
Yes.
is proposed and it's required to be 14.5.
Oh, I apologize. It should be 12.02.
Okay.
So they don't, there is no rear yard
Yeah.
setback. I didn't.
Okay, so that's not an issue. So, and I think, yeah, so the calculations here, because it's a substandard lot.
Yep.
You used the reduced standards.
Yes, that's
They're already
correct.
reduced, right?
Yep, yeah, the building official re-reviewed it once the new site plan was submitted and the 2024 substandard lot calculations were used.
So I usually go last. So I applaud you for surviving. Applaud the fact that you're still engaged.
People back home are watching, by the way.
Uh,
I think I can go back home so far.
I applaud that you're still engaged through this. The issues for me were kind of clear on some things, and the deck setback, great. If we can go to the internal, this first floor, so the 5 bedrooms were it, and just for background, and we've gone through this before, so I'm not throwing stones. The house was listed as a 3-bedroom home. You bought it as a 3-bedroom home. It's been taxed as a 3-bedroom home. It's 5 bedrooms. All right. We talked to you about getting it back to a 3-bedroom home. Part of my concern was, and I don't mean to rub salt in the wound, but when I asked you how many tenants you had, you said 3. And I said, well, I've been going back and forth and there's at least 8 cars. And you're like, well, yeah, I know there's probably 5 people living there. So that's a concern for me is, 3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms, and so do we have 8 people living there, 10 people, or are we going to, I mean, if you live next door, I'm much more confident of things, and I like that response, but that kind of left a sour taste in my mouth.
I did tell the guys, you gotta limit the sleepovers. It's gotta be you guys, so.
So, the office, so one of the suggestions was, and I give our attorney, and just to give you a heads up, because he's new to us and we haven't broken him in yet. Steve allowed us to go to a certain stage until we were getting too involved in the project and pulled us back because we can't be there. And we got very involved in this with you, and we talked about making this a master suite down here. So you had a master suite here with a bathroom, you had 2 bedrooms with a bathroom, and then making a great room upstairs. That's what I was kind of hoping was coming back. And what's come back is 5 bedrooms cloaked as 4. Not that that's your intent, and I want to make that clear.
Okay.
We've just been burnt so many times. So I understand you're going to 4 feet. Double doors, I could put French doors up in 30 seconds. Are those 2 windows, and I hate to do this to you because I know you're going to cringe because I know you replaced windows. Are those 2 windows access egress windows, or are they just for light?
No, this one is access egress, this one is double hung just for light. Well, we can make that, we can break that wall down further if you like. You know, the rental for 4 is great, obviously I'm not gonna say the money isn't that, but we do have 5 kids.
Yeah, no,
It's not-
and
it's really-
I appreciate you, and I'm trying to accommodate you there, but, you know, seen too many times where all of a sudden neighbors are like, hey, wait a minute, you guys approved a 3-bedroom with an office or storage, and now we've got 4 bedrooms, and it comes back at us that it's, you know,
Understood.
what did we do wrong?
Yeah.
And usually, what people have done is where it's office space, they've put in windows that aren't egress access, so they're light. So it can't be a bedroom, it can't be declared a bedroom.
Okay.
So, you know, if you can make that larger, is this a structural wall? Is that why you're keeping that?
I don't know.
Okay.
We just asked our
This one?
architect to.
That one,
to open it
yeah,
up.
all right. So,
But you can always, there's
It's in the
always
basement, so I don't.
yeah, there's structure in there, so, all right. I would like to have seen that wall gone. It's not. Getting to FAR, and I know FAR is an issue because the neighbors look at us and say, well, you put this in to protect us, and now you're taking it out or you're modifying it. But the house is the house. You bought the house. And whether it has 3 bedrooms or 4, it still has the same mass. And, you know, you've been reasonable on this. You agree that you're going to take the 585 square feet of driveway out. And so that will ease up the scape. I would like to see a modification on this office to make me more comfortable that tomorrow it's not going to be a bedroom.
Okay.
But no, I thank you for taking a deep breath and going in. It's not exactly what we're looking for, but you didn't get exactly what you're looking for either. So, not that this is a negotiation, but this does bother me because it's, you know, French doors and I'm done. You know, so that's my take. Doc, redirect on your part?
Yeah, you touched on something which is true. The folks here tried to guide you, I guess, in a way, to redo the basement area, so we wouldn't be having this conversation. And I for whatever reason, you didn't take that up.
Can I mention one thing?
Yeah.
Actually, the suggestion that you had given was for the upstairs. It was to join those 2, it was to join those 2 bedrooms. And we wanted to keep those 2.
Yeah, that's, all right, you're right.
So we said, all right, what if we get rid of the bedroom downstairs? And that's what we came up with. So it wasn't that we like ignored
Okay.
yours, we wanted to keep 2 bedrooms upstairs.
Yeah, no, I stand corrected.
So we can,
I'm so focused on this.
yeah, so we
So-
can come up with something better there, definitely.
Is there a possibility of removing that wall so you have an office kitchenette area there
Yeah,
and open that up?
yeah,
All right? That would make me more comfortable,
okay.
okay? All right, and if it turns out it is structural, at least taking it back as far as we can,
Okay.
okay? Doc?
Yeah, the other thing that the chair mentioned already is the floor area ratio business. And I think Rupert tried to point that out, but you know, you can't go around and blow everything up, I mean, but, you know, like that storage area there, adds to the mass of your structure. But as somebody said, that could be used in the summer as a bedroom because those are sliding doors.
I do have a picture of it, so you can see how horrible of a storage area it is. It's unfinished, there's no access from the inside. I did take a picture.
No, I understand.
How much did that cost you to make it look like that? Come on.
AI. But like if we had to write something to say that we promise we'll never make that a bedroom, that's not the intention, and there's no way to get there from the house.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, two issues there. First, we know from your conversations here that you mean well and that you're an honest person. But if you sit here for a period of time, which, you know, many of us have been here for a little bit, things change and owners change. And you can say, no, it's been in my family for, you know, 25 years. Doesn't make any difference. Life changes and people die or whatever. They move on. And the next owner, as was said, if you take what you have up on that wall there, that office space, that's a weekend. Wouldn't even take a weekend. So, but back to floor area ratio, the difficulty we have is we spend all kinds of time as a town figuring out the floor area ratio, you know, to prevent mass on a relatively smaller lot. And we're looking at, you know, structure, and I guess I'm being hard-nosed about it, but storage, what is, if that's not usable space, why is it there?
There's a second floor.
Yeah,
That's a really nice dining room. Like you said.
Point of information, if I can interrupt,
That's the
Robert,
illegal.
can I, under Robert's rules, point of information, counsel, how binding is, if the owner agrees to a condition that remains storage, how binding is that going forward?
As we go through the process, we can get creative, and staff has already been talking about maybe having a conversation with you, sir.
Okay.
And if that's something the board wants to explore, we certainly can explore that as this gentleman proceeds.
Yeah, I'm just looking, because this was a concern the first time it came, it's still a concern now, so I'm looking for a solution here.
Is it part of the FAR measurement? Because it's
The storage.
storage? I would
I
think
believe
might
it
not.
was, I mean,
Yeah,
at least the second floor.
Second floor, definitely.
Second floor,
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Do you have a file?
And while you're looking that up,
Yeah, I was gonna say, well,
just for the record, because this is a different session, is to remind everybody that when you buy a property in town of Narragansett, you buy the problems that are related to that property. And I know that the staff tries to be nice, and they always point out that this was whatever was there before, and the new owner bought those problems. But it almost suggests there's some, I don't know, some lightheartedness about the problems because they're not the responsibility of the person coming before us, but they are. When you buy the property, you buy the problems, and when you sit and figure it all out, you know that when you come in here, with all the rules and regulations that have been touched on and talked about, it's very difficult to support a project that's overbuilt over whatever, in our opinion, regardless of whether you created the problem to start with. You know? And if you had nothing but money, you could correct everything we're talking about. You know? And I'm aware of that. It's we don't want to spend your hard-earned dollars, but it's hard to support the overbuilding.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
In any case.
Draw to just that history again, like right from the beginning, we had the town in, and we thought that going through the permit process helped relieve some of this to get to the happy medium, but we own the problem. I will tell you, we put, probably about $240,000 into this on top of the sales price. And we knew it was priced low because of all these issues, just the ones that had to fix to get it up to code, and then having to go through this process, we knew we'd probably have to take stuff down. But it was a way to get a place in Narragansett, and we were hoping that over time, we could get to a point where we'd be above board.
And that's the hardest part, is people who know it, it's one thing, but for people who buy, and then, I mean, I still remember your face when you came in here, and totally unaware, and that's more crushing to us, but we have responsibilities, and we, as you know, we try to get through things, but still keep things. Jerry?
Well, I concur with you, Mark, that it's a 5-bedroom that's disguised as a 4-bedroom. But it is what it is. And I applaud you for what you've done in volunteering to take down that additional wall. I think that's it.
Rupert?
I don't have anything else.
Tom?
I guess from my vantage point, this is a substantial amount of relief on the FAR.
It is.
And we've seen people come before us that are looking for substantially less amount of FAR relief, and it's not been granted. From my way of thinking, as you have positioned it, if we knew in advance, and I know this is, we're not there, we're not at this particular point in time, but if we knew in advance whether or not you could build on the lot next door, which looks, just in terms of looking at a drive-by, looks extremely wet to me. My guess is that that will be a challenge. We knew that you could build there, you're going to build something there, be approved, you're going to be able to manage that from looking out your window and the rest of it. I feel a little differently about this. But at this moment in time, I think that's a highly contingent future condition that may or may not come to pass. My sense is that, like I said, I'm stuck on the FAR relief, and I'll leave it at that.
FAR is an issue to me. It has to be. I mean, I weigh this one differently in the fact of the circumstances. If you were building this, or if you had been given a permit to build a 3-bedroom and you built a 5-bedroom and you got caught, it'd be a whole different story for me. Where you've inherited this mess, you've tried to make the corrections. I would like a restriction on the storage, and council and staff said they would work with you to try to make that. I want something binding. I would like to see that wall disappear if possible. If it is a structural wall, and I don't know if there's a lolly column buried in it or stuff, but if there is, take the wall out and box the lolly column. I'd like to see that gone. I'd like to see this really be what you came back in for. All right. There's a few things that I'm a stickler on. Height, because those impact the neighbors. FAR, because those impact the neighbors. Obviously, hardscape, because the runoff impacts the neighbor. I look for what impacts the neighbor and what we can work on here. This has been here. It's impacted the neighborhood. In fact, I went by it again. It looks a lot better than the first pictures that came in. So whether it has 5 bedrooms, 3 bedrooms, or a bedroom, it's still there. And to me, to ask you to tear down part of the house is onerous. If you were building it, I'd have no problems having to tear down the house. It sounds like cold-hearted, but I don't like sneaks. So I would be, in this particular case, and only in this type of case, because I got a bad feeling we got a bunch of these out there. If you can accommodate the storage with some sort of deed restriction or restriction, and that wall disappears so that it's actually just 4 bedrooms, I could see my way to not comfortably approving, but recommending in the positive, because we don't approve, and that's a misnomer. We just recommend to zoning and we give them a heads up where we see the concerns. So I would voice my concerns to them, but I could see a way to giving them a positive on it.
Also, if the wall goes, the windows can stay as they are, or is that?
Yeah, if the wall goes, I mean, I know you've replaced the windows. I'm not looking for you to spend extra money. And so, yeah, if the wall goes, you know, that's an office area with a kitchenette and whatever, you know. So it's a banishment room for the boys. But yeah, I'm not totally comfortable, but I could live with it. Okay. Right? You want to add anything?
No, I appreciate it.
Okay.
And, yeah, we're learning as we go,
Okay.
and this, hopefully we show better.
Staff, do you have anything to add?
Regarding the FAR and the storage calculations, community development staff doesn't calculate that. That comes from the building official and the
Yeah.
assistant building official. And there was no calculations on paper, so I'm not sure. However, that's information that we can clarify in the process between now and zoning. And we can get that clarified.
All right. And zoning will pick this up.
Yeah.
Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak on this? Their neighbors or anything? No? Okay. Do I have a motion from the board?
Well, the first motion is easy. It is complete and it is somewhat in conformance with the town comprehensive plan.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Okay. Now I need a recommendation to zoning.
But this is a tough one. How about you, Albert, are you ready?
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. So on tax assessor's plat N-OR lot 1033, 6 Algonquin Trail, make a motion to recommend support with the staff report from Ryan, dated February 18, 2025.
Have you gone through these?
The report, yes.
All right. Do you
And-
understand the conditions?
Yes.
And I want to add
Do you agree to them?
I want to add two conditions to Ryan's. One is that the office be, the area labeled as office be further modified to remove the wall. And the other is sort of contingent on it not be used in the future as a bedroom. And the second is that the storage space, commitment to storage space not be used as a bedroom in the future as well. So those are the additional.
Okay. Do I have seconded on the motion? I'll second it. I can do that, can't I?
Sure.
I don't usually get involved, but I'll second it. All right. All those in favor, as recommended, as written?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Aye. All right. So it carries 3-2. Understand, we're not giving you a green light. You
No.
can't go and be happy. You've got to go to zoning next.
Yeah.
All right?
And we should not make any changes until.
No, they're gonna look and see what did we recommend, and the first things they're gonna look for is, because we very seldom make a negative, and that's why this took so long. So they're gonna look and say, okay, why were they hesitant? And the first things they're gonna look at is the driveway. You need to focus in on that, office space, and then restrictions with the storage, which council and staff said they would work with on.
To clarify, I'm not making the changes on the site.
Oh, yes, no, don't just make, please,
That was my question.
don't go spending money until you go through, see them, okay? Good luck in zoning.
Okay, thank you guys very much.
Thank you much.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, next
Yeah, no
up.
problem. I'll get you. Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Next project, Cherry, Texas Assessors Plat S, Lot 32, 48 Walcott Avenue. Hello, sir.
Good evening.
Can you
Chairman.
introduce yourself?
I can. Christopher Zangari for the applicant for Cherries. Mr. Friday, I'm glad I can make you laugh. I represent the Cherries who are here this evening, and they can come up and join me.
Okay, I'm going to go over a synopsis of what's here,
Absolutely.
and then I'm going to ask you to go back and do detail.
We will.
So the applicant is submitting a request to demolish an existing one-story dwelling to construct a three-story modular dwelling at the above referenced property. It requires variances from dimensional regulations. So the existing condition is lot 32 is approximately 5,391 square feet in size and is located in the R10 zoning district. Lot 32 is currently improved by a 26 by 40 one-story dwelling with an attached 16 by 30 side yard deck. Existing building and lot coverage is approximately 1,561 square feet, or 28%. Okay? Proposed demolish of the existing dwelling and attached deck. Construction of 24 by 48 three-story dwelling with an attached 10 by 24 multi-level sun deck with stairs. Proposed building lot coverage will be approximately 1,464 square feet, or about 27%. All right, this project doesn't comply with dimensional regulations of section 6.4, as the front setback proposed is 13.6, 15.6 is required. Rear yard setback proposed is 11.5, 12.94 is required, and the building height proposed is 34 feet 11 3/4 inches. FAR calculation is calculated at 0.61, which is 3,310 square feet. FAR for this site is 0.30, which is 1,617 square feet. So we're not quite as 3 times as large. Parking does comply. So we're looking at 4 variances. I have a question, and I usually defer to the board first, but I know this is rattling around in everybody's brains. So my question is this. When you started this project, did you look at our zoning at all and our regulations when you started this project?
Let me do this. This is Maggie Cherry. Let me introduce her.
Hi, Miss Jerry, how are you? And I'm not trying to put any, everybody's been asking the same thing. How did we get here? So the question is, did anybody look at our regulations before they proposed this?
If I could just interject, Mr. Chairman. The applicants have been working with the planning department for over a year. So
Okay.
this isn't as if, I don't want you to think that they put this application in last month, said, put us on the agenda, we don't care what you think, let's bang it through if possible. That's not the case. There's been quite a bit of discussions, quite a bit of back and forth. By the way, the staff's been very helpful in that regard, they've been very accessible. So the answer, I think, to the question is, yes, they are aware, the Cherries are aware of the guidelines. But we're also aware that there is the allowance for, in the ordinance, there is the allowance for dimensional relief.
Yes.
And we are, and I know this board is very well aware, even though you don't deal with the issues much of the legal standard for a dimensional variance, now more so than in the past with unified development review, you're sitting in the shoes of the zoning board that you didn't before. Right. But when there's a reason that those dimensional rules are there to allow for variances, dimensional variances, so that people don't have to, if they meet the standard, meet the little requirements. And that's why we're here. And to discuss those reasons why those dimensional variances, I think, can receive. And if you'll allow us, my goal tonight is to give you a pathway to get to a point where you can say, all right, this is dimensional relief. Some of it is a little significant, no doubt about it. We know that, and the Cherries know that. But there is a way to see it through to say, I understand why they're asking for that relief. That relief is minimal to the reasonable use of the permitted use, which I think I can get you to see it our way that it does. And if we can meet that standard, well then you're able to say to the zoning board, we give it a positive approval or positive recommendation because we think it can meet the standard. Now you may come to a different conclusion, but I think there's a way to get there. Hopefully we can get you there.
Counselor, if you haven't figured it out, we give a lot of room here, so.
No, I have, and I've seen that. I appreciate
that was, I know it's rattling around in everybody's head as to, and especially when you see that it's a modular home, because usually those companies research all of this stuff on behalf of the clients, and and come back to them. So I think that was the question that was here, and I wanted to clarify right up front as to where
Much
it's going.
appreciated.
Ms. Cherry, dive in.
And just one clarification point is that when we started working with the modular company and started putting these plans together, it was early 2021, and so there was no bulk zoning ordinance, there was no FAR in the zoning ordinance. So as we came through this process and started working with, there were different hurdles, finding a GC, those kinds of things that delayed us. And as we got delayed, new ordinances were coming through that were completely overhauling the regulations that apply to our property.
Right, and council will tell you, because of that, and it evolves, we just went before the town council last night on an ancillary dwelling. It has had significant, not minor, significant changes the last 3 years,
Yes.
totally different. So what we do is, when you file with us, those are the regulations that we have to go by. It's the only fair way to do this, because, yeah, I'm sorry, but it can be a moving target, so.
Yes, I just didn't want you to think that we had no regard for
No, I
the ordinances
Yeah.
that were in place.
and that's why I wanted,
That was not the case.
because we were all like,
Yeah,
how do we get here?
Yeah,
And
no,
so, all right. Counselor, the floor is yours.
Thank you.
Walk us through.
Please, Mr. Chairman and members of the planning board. I'm going to do it a little bit formally with Ms. Cherry. Ms. Cherry, can you describe to the board what exists there now on the site?
yes, so a single-family dwelling unit that is approximately 961 square feet. It sits on a corner lot that is a substandard lot. It's approximately 56% of a standard lot.
And is the square footage of the lot about a little less than 5,400 square feet? Is that
Correct.
about right? Okay.
5391.
Perfect, thank you very much. And the house that's there right now, it's a one-story,
Correct,
and it's a two-bedroom,
correct,
one full bath?
yes,
Okay. And do you happen to know when it was built?
around the 1950s.
So that was pre-zoning and in town. And your family is proposing, you said, a 3-story new construction. It's fair to say you'll be demolishing the old structure.
Correct.
And did you make any inquiries into whether or not there were any environmental issues with DEM on this property?
Yes,
And what was the response they gave you?
that there were no findings in the surrounding lots.
And with regard to the driveway, is there an existing driveway?
Yes,
Is it a gravel driveway?
yes.
Is it going to remain a gravel driveway?
It will move over slightly, but yes,
It will remain gravel?
yes,
Okay, so there's no impervious surface?
correct.
And are you proposing a rain garden with this new construction?
Yes.
And is the purpose of that rain garden, let me do it this way, what is the purpose of the rain garden? if you recall?
Stormwater management,
And is that for the roof runoff?
yes,
All right. And are you aware that the lot coverage will actually be reduced by the new construction?
yes,
And is it fair to say that'll be 1.9% reduction in lot coverage?
yes,
Was that planned?
yes,
And for the board, that reduction in lot coverage, that's actually, and I put it in the memo to the board, that's actually a goal of the comprehensive plan, is to increase what the plan calls the unconstrained land. So while I'm not saying it's a huge portion, but it is some, so it goes towards a goal of the town's comprehensive plan. Is this a fair depiction of what you plan to build, the modular home?
yes,
In a modular home, there's a little gap in between the floors. See those? That gap?
yes,
Okay.
yeah. Sorry, I didn't know who you were asking.
I was asking you. Do you know the reason for that, that space? right
Yes,
there? All right, and is that because of the modular construction?
correct. It has to do with what can be used for, essentially, the ductwork and everything, the mechanicals that go in between floors can't be built all together in a modular construction, so the interstitial space has to get larger so that it's essentially two pieces coming together instead of one piece that's built on top of each other, if that makes sense.
It does. I was very impressed to use the word interstitial. The interstitial space that you just described, is that adding to the height of the structure?
Yes,
Do you recall by how much?
approximately 11 inches.
Was it 11 inches?
It's 11 inches each,
Okay.
I believe.
So that's adding to the reason for the dimensional height variance?
Yes.
And is there any need that you're aware of for any dimensional relief for parking, or do you meet those requirements?
We meet those requirements.
Very good. And you're proposing a 4-bedroom new dwelling?
Yes.
Can we have, Ryan, if you can you show the first floor, please? Floor plan? Thank you. All right, so we've got, on the first floor, there's a study, a great room.
Can you go back to the study?
Sure.
So the study has a closet? Is that a closet?
Yes.
It is a closet. And are those windows access egress windows, or are those just for light?
I believe they're access egress windows, but the room itself does not fit the building code's definition for a bedroom.
And that building code definition for a bedroom, is that something you discussed with the planning department?
Yeah, the building inspector.
The building, Mr. Pimentel?
Yeah.
And based on what he informed you, is that why you configured the room this way, so that it would not meet the definitions of a bedroom?
Correct.
All right. And here is a great room, which to me is kind of synonymous with a living room, is that fair?
Yep.
All right. And can you describe, Ms. Cherry, this room right here?
Yeah, so there's not actually a wall in between, it just has to do with where the label of the great room is.
Oh, so this is one entire room?
Correct,
I see.
and I think that line is just kind of depicting for the builder, like where the two different pods come together. But there is no wall, it's just one great room.
Okay, so this is not a wall.
Correct.
This is entire, that's a room. Very good. Ryan, do you have the second, please? So on the second floor, you have the bathroom, you've got this storage. This is a smaller room. Can you describe why the storage is there, please?
For storing belongings.
Is there gonna be an attic that's going to be built with this house?
No,
Is there a garage?
no,
Is there a basement?
no. So our only storage space is located in the living space.
And your dining room, is this a wall or is the dining room?
That is not a wall.
Okay, so this is open from the living room to the dining room.
Correct,
And the first bedroom is right here,
correct.
all right? And then your kitchen is here. Can we have the third story, please, Ryan? And then we've got here the third, fourth bedroom. There's another family room. You've got storage here.
Correct.
Is this a wall as well?
That is a wall, yes.
That is?
Mhm.
Right, so the family room goes from here to here. This storage area, what's the plan for that? What do you
To
intend
store
use?
belongings.
Okay.
This, I'll let you continue.
Okay. We had talked before we came in, and you had told me that one of the family members has certain disabilities and is going to be working from home, at least part-time. In which room would that be happening?
In the study.
All right, so that was second floor, I believe?
First.
Excuse me, first. And based on that person's disabilities, are they required, strike that, is it fair to say?
Counselor, we're not in a court of law, just
I
relax.
understand, that's a habit, I'm sorry, just a habit. That person, because of certain autoimmune conditions, does that person need a place that is quiet, away from family members, where they can relax when those conditions flare up?
Yes.
And where would you anticipate that would happen?
On the second floor, their primary living space.
And your family's owned this property for how long?
Since the 1980s,
It's
before my time.
44 years.
Counselor, who's the gentleman?
No, this is Mr. Christopher,
I'm the
Chair.
owner.
Who?
I'm the owner.
Okay.
It's been in the family since '82. I purchased it from my parents in '06, and we've never rented as long as I've owned it.
That was my next question. So you've never rented, is your intention to make this a rental?
No.
Yeah, what is your intention for the property?
My parents intend to move to Narragansett permanently, so this will be their permanent residence and primary residence.
Does this house have a water view?
No,
Is this house waterfront?
no,
Are you familiar with the area?
yes,
The general character of the area?
yes,
Okay. Is it residential?
yes,
Are there any commercial structures?
no,
Any industrial
No.
properties? Mr. Chairman, what I'd like to do is, I'll leave it for the board if you have any direct questions.
Counselor, can you cover the next, you can cover this floor, so it's just for the record.
Sure,
You have 2 bedrooms, a bathroom, and another family room?
yes.
And does that family room have a Juliet balcony looking down? Is that open, or is that front to back?
front to back.
Front to back.
So if the board has questions, we'll certainly answer them, so that's the board.
I have a question before I turn it over to my board members. Have you purchased this already?
We've, the house,
Yes.
these plans,
No.
or
the house.
the existing structure?
Yeah, the structure that you are going to move to the site, have you purchased it?
He means the modulars, correct?
Yes.
Not,
Are you under contract?
Yes.
yes,
Yes, so you purchased it. Okay.
yes.
All right. All right. No, I'm not looking to trick you, I'm not looking to split hairs, I'm
It
just
was-
asking a question. So you bought it? All right. Dr. O'Neill?
You bring tears to my eyes. Why would you buy something before you get permission to do this? And forget the question. Strike that, right?
You may.
That's none of my business. So if you go back to what's the level here, the other level of the study there in the left corner,
Mhm. The first floor,
the first floor, this is the study, right?
correct,
Right, and it's got a closet in it, right there.
correct.
And when you had this conversation with the building inspector, they didn't say to you that this board always considers rooms like that with a closet as a bedroom? He never said that?
They said that legally, per the building code, it is not a bedroom.
I'm not sure what that means.
I have a point of information. I'm going to step in, point of information to the staff. Do we have any record from the building inspector that they deem this not a bedroom? Because I'm confused at how this is in a bedroom.
To my knowledge,
I didn't see anything in any of our records that they declared this.
I don't have any written record. The only thing that would have that as a potential record would be on the building review form, which I don't have, which I believe was a 4-bedroom on there, but there's no written confirmation that they said that that's not a bedroom.
Yeah, and normally if there's no access egress, it's considered not a bedroom. So a lot of times windows will be for light, and that's why, and people do this all the time so that they set it as an office. So, but these, you've said, are access egress windows. Okay.
Correct, they're all.
And there is a closet.
So,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, if I might ask.
Yeah.
You could ask Ms. Cherry what the building official said and
Well,
why
that
it's not
was-
a bedroom.
That was
Because
my,
it meets the egress, it's the size, it has closets aren't required.
it was
but-
my next question. Ms. Cherry, can you tell me
Yes, it has
and
to
what
do
the
with-
grounds were, and do you have anything written from them saying,
Absolutely. So the legal definition of a bedroom, Rhode Island Building Code, states that the opening, the doorway, has to be less than 48 inches wide.
Okay.
And when that was brought to Mr. Pimentel's attention, he deemed it not a bedroom, and on our building zoning review form, the house is listed at 4 bedrooms.
Those are French doors, correct?
Correct. But
Correct.
it doesn't matter if they're doors or not, it's the
I
opening.
understand the letter of the law. I know it inside and out. Thank you. We also have a history of getting our butts burnt on this thing.
I understand.
Alright.
This is what the
So,
conversation with the building
and I
inspector was.
appreciate it. We just kind of, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and sounds like a duck, it gets interesting for us. Okay, thank you. I didn't mean to take anything, I just want clarification on that. Doctor, still yours.
Yeah, Ryan, I think you sent us a correction on the FAR percentage.
Yeah, that's correct.
So
In my,
the FAR percentage over, is that correct, is 101%?
yeah, that's correct. It's 104.9%.
So you have to understand our problem. You were here for, I think, the first presentation. We spent a long time coming up with a floor area ratio. And the idea of my support for something that's over 100% request for variances, man, that's, it's, plus there are other variances requested too in this project. So in any case, you can tell I'm not enthusiastic here. I know what you'd like to do, but I think you have a 5,400, give or take, square foot lot, and the problem is you have a structure that needs more lot. That's the problem. So, 10 pounds of potatoes in a 5-pound sack. In any case, that's my opinion.
Mr. Chairman, if I might just
Yeah.
interrupt, to go back to your question. I just asked Jerry, they have no problem, no objection to a restriction on that room we just reviewed. I mean, part of a recommendation, part of a zoning decision to be recorded in the land evidence record, limiting that to a study, and that it cannot be used as a bedroom. Obviously, that is enforceable by Mr. Pimentel, Mr. Eidelman, and Mr. Murphy, Joe, who's the building inspector, as the code inspector. They can certainly, if that's a violation, they'll suffer the consequences through the town. So they're certainly willing to do that. In fact, if that helps the board, they will do it.
Thank you, sir. Jerry?
So you understand, Counselor, that we have an enforcement problem, knowing what people are doing in their basements and in their studies.
I do. I've been on the enforcement end of it.
Do the chairs have any recourse on getting out of this building, out of this contract that they've signed for this house?
I don't know, I haven't asked.
Can you please ask on our behalf?
That's very important to me, anyway.
I can. Would you like me to do it now?
If you would.
Well, they're asking.
I'm asking.
I'm very interested in the comment you made that plans were from 2021. Would they have complied? Would this building have complied with zoning in 2021?
That would be addressed to staff.
Yeah.
Staff,
yes.
would this building have complied in 2021 to our regulations?
I wasn't here in 2021.
You weren't born in 2021.
So the question is, would the building have complied? No, it needs variances.
It would have needed.
It would have still needed front and rear yard setback variances.
FAR would not have been in play at that point in time.
FAR would have been in play,
No.
but neither would anything else.
Right.
And I think Ms. Abel may be able to confirm this. The structure as it sits now is within the setbacks, I believe. So the existing structure as it sits already encroaches, because we're actually reducing the footprint. It's not as if there were no side, rear, front yard setback issues and we're creating them. No, they were always there. Those were there.
So what I would say to that, to Mr. Zangari, is that when you voluntarily demolish your house and rebuild,
Yeah.
you go back to zero. You're not grandfathered in setbacks when you voluntarily
I was
demolish.
about to state that, but I prefer you to do it.
I will also say that in 2021, if we were to demolish and rebuild our house and fit all the setbacks, our house would have been 5 feet wide.
Okay, so my question is, when did this get filed with us?
This got filed, I don't have the building review in front of me, but I think it was 2024.
Okay, so we're operating on 2024, not 2021 or 2019 or anything else, okay? And I don't mean to sound like a jerk, but I need to qualify this,
Yep.
okay? I think it's a valid question, and I would ask, you're in a contract on this. Do you have recourse of modifying that contract in any way, shape, or form? Are you locked into this?
Can I answer? Okay.
We would prefer that.
We can make modifications to the design.
Okay.
Major? Any modifications that you want?
That's tough to define, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
there are a lot of factors.
major to
Counsel,
us and
wait,
major may be different.
We're not trying to hold you to anything, we're just looking for some kind of,
Room.
ground here.
There is, it's not like these pods are sitting in a warehouse.
Yeah, just so you know, we have never seen this kind of FAR request before. It's still kind of, I'm still trying to grasp around it. All right, so just so you know why we're kind of where we are, all right? Jerry?
I don't know. I was just still looking for the answer to that question on the recourse. Aside from that, I've said what I need.
Rupert?
So, yeah, when I review this, I look at the variance for the front yard, rear yard, building height. And in my mind, they're all within the 15% modification, which is 2024 law. But the FAR isn't even close, and it seems to me that you're creating the hardship by having, I don't know, 3 or 4 family rooms that are larger than my house. So it seems like a lot of redundant family room space when you're not anywhere close to the floor area ratio of all. So just an observation.
Tom?
Two points. Council, you did a nice job, but I am still, and I know you wanted to lead us to a point where you thought we might be able to see this thing in a way that there was a pathway to get it done. I don't see that pathway looking far. Far is just too far, to be honest with you. I do have a question about, there was a question and answer you were doing with your client with respect to, and ask with respect to DEM jurisdiction there. Was it DEM that there was a conversation with? And did you ask DEM to make a determination whether there was presence of wetlands on the property?
Well, I think the first, and then I'll let certainly Ms. Cherry answer, but there was no wetlands on the property. There's no indication that there's ever been. I think there was, because the staff report said there was I'm going to paraphrase, but there was a possibility that there may be wetlands in the area. So I believe, I'm sure you can take it from there, as to what you asked and what you heard. From
Yes.
DEM.
So, there was a question of whether or not an adjacent lot or closed lot was considered a wetland. I did meet with planning staff about this, and I had a conversation with DEM, and they pointed me to previous DEM permits that have been pulled. Those permits did not determine that there were any wetlands in any of the adjacent, directly across the street or adjoining lots. That answer seemed to be sufficient for staff.
We usually get documentation from DEM, and I don't, it's on my question, one on my list. I'm sorry to interrupt, and I don't usually do it this much, but I feel like I'm ground control here. We usually get documentation, clear documentation from DEM as to one way or the other, and delineations. And that was the thing that I did not see anywhere in
Yeah, that's typical. Usually we'll get something relative to what they call an exemption or an approval letter. In this sense, I believe Ms. Cherry did submit some email potential, but that was regarding lots further south, whereas our GIS is indicating lot S15. So that was staff's concern in regards to the wetlands, is that that lot just be addressed.
Yeah, but my concern is that we didn't get anything from DEM. We always get something from DEM, whether it's, you know, it's fine, or here's the problems we have. You know, I mean, we usually get something.
But I think it's because there's no wetlands on the property. That's why you don't have it.
Well, that's your opinion. I
Yeah, no, I
don't have DEM's opinion, and quite frankly, I'm more afraid of them than I am of you. Yeah?
So what I was going to say is, yes, it doesn't appear that there are any wetlands on the lot. The lot, as Mr. DePati pointed out, is S15. Oftentimes what you'll see in your report, and Mr. DePati can confirm this if it's in there, is a condition that says, you know, before the issuance of a building
Yeah.
permit, that an exemption or some type of documentation from DEM is provided.
Yeah, I think that's a standard condition, and I believe it was circulated in here.
It's condition number 4.
Yeah, it is. Thank you. All right. Okay, thank you.
Some type of acknowledgement, Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman.
I mean, it's just unusual. It's not anything on your part, it's just unusual. And we unfortunately have to go by the experts, so, all right?
So, Chair, so I have another question. So there's letters of support from, but I noticed the house next door and the one catty corner behind it and the lot across the street, which to me are going to be most impacted by this size of this building. We didn't see letters of support from them.
Which address?
I don't know the addresses, the one,
Which one on the diagram?
like here. This is a small house, which would be impacted by the scale of the house. This is a small house, and,
Yeah,
and this is a
Steve Raybein's house.
vacant lot.
I personally spoke with Steve. He has a medical condition, and his wife has Alzheimer's, so he's been hospitalized. But I did speak with him. He's well aware of it.
And the other house, those two houses are primarily not owner occupied, and so it was just a matter of getting in touch in time to have a letter signed.
And the one on the top, he was a present board member at the time. He thought it'd be a conflict of interest, but he's aware of the project.
Here?
Oh,
Here.
yes.
You set? Tom?
Not at this time,
Okay.
not at this time.
Counsel, you want to add anything?
Just a couple. Mr. Chairman, you had mentioned to the previous applicant that you're very concerned with, and rightly so, you know, how it impacts the people. And I think if you take a look at this and analyze it, say, well, yeah, it's certainly a bigger house. Dr. O'Neill's right. Yeah, it's over 100%. Is that substantial? Absolutely. No one's here telling you otherwise. But if we get to the question of how does it affect the people? It's a 4-bedroom house in a neighborhood that's residential. And there are, that I could find in a quick look online today, there are 3 homes on Sylvan, which is the cross street right here, that have a square footage that is actually bigger than what we're proposing. Now, they may have some bigger lots, right? So maybe they can handle it. You know, maybe they're 5 pounds potatoes in a 4-pound bag and not, 5 pounds in a 1-pound bag. But there are certainly other houses that are 3 stories. There's more than 2. There's others that are over 4,000 square feet of floor area. So this is not a wild outlier. This is something that is in conformance and in character with the neighborhood. There are other smaller homes that are built in the 50s that are still there. Those are in conformance too. There's a mix. So what's being proposed here, while it's certainly a lot more than what was there, I think when you get down to it, if it's a 4-bedroom and there's plenty of parking, you're not increasing any runoff, there's no getting down to impervious surface. What's the impact to the neighbors? It's limited, and it's not that heavy. The issue is, I mean, if you say, what's a bigger impact? You know, a 3-bedroom that's 1,600 square feet that's rented all the time, or this property, I'm gonna say the 3-bedroom that's rented all the time.
So Counselor, are you saying that the owner will deed restrict this, that this will never be a rental?
I haven't discussed that with him.
Well, I'm
I
just
could.
throwing it out here, you implied.
I,
You implied,
I-
I'm asking, we're having a conversation
we're
here.
having a conversation.
So you're implying that the client is willing to deed restrict this, that it will never be a rental?
I have not discussed that with him.
No,
I have not discussed it, I never asked a question.
I'm just asking a question.
No, I'm
Okay.
saying, what I'm saying is that their proposed use right now,
Right now,
if you go
I
back.
appreciate that.
If you go back to that,
Yep. Yep.
that issue you have, or that seminal issue.
Yep. My other question is, the other houses that you talked about and the size,
Yes.
you know for a fact that they came in under the new regulations since 2024?
No.
So they
I'm saying-
came in under regulations when they were built? And
Yes,
regulations change over time?
absolutely.
And
they
we
do.
have to deal with the time and the space now?
We do.
Yeah.
My point is only that it goes to the character of the neighborhood.
I appreciate
And
that.
when we're talking about the hardship, that's one of the standards we have to meet. So that's, I put it out there for that purpose.
I appreciate it, and again, I applaud your thoroughness in your presentation. The thing that and again, you know we're a recommendation, regardless of what we recommend, you've got to go to zoning, you have no choice. You know, you heard me before with the house there, he bought that, he's stuck with that. You're building this, and I have said before that had he been building this, I'd be like, sorry, it sounds cold-hearted, but you gotta take it down and comply. I can't turn around and say that to one person and then say, you know, 100% is okay in any rationale. I have to look at it, what's the reasonableness test? Council understands what I'm saying, and we have to, that's a guiding thing, we have to look at that. And I'm very seldom shocked, and this one keeps coming back to me. I actually got up last night and went back through it again. It's like, this is a lot, and I'll be honest with you, I did the 15% calculation, driving around, height-wise, while I'm not comfortable with it, it's reasonable, and I understand modular homes, being an engineer, so I understand what forced that, I can get around that. The FAR, I can't get around that huge of a piece, to be honest with you, and that's kind of where I'm at, all right? So, just so you all know, and unfortunately we have to, you had a number of letters of support, they were like form letters, but I get that. We can only weigh those with a feather, because neighbors change, things change, so do we take them into consideration? Yeah, but we really got to kind of look at this and how it fits. It's a big one.
Mr. Chairman, if I might, I just talked with the Cherries, what they would like to do, based on the tenor of this meeting and your questions. They would like to continue this, come back to you,
I was going to offer you that.
propose some modifications, and see if we can't get to yes.
That's great. I was going to offer that. We do that all the time. Again, I'm very proudful of this board, and it's a give and take. So if you would like to do that, board's okay with that?
So moved.
Tom, hold on.
I just want to get one more thing out there.
Me too.
Yeah, okay, then let's just go redirect, Doc. Doc, redirect. You're all set. Jerry?
I had this letter come in, and it's not part of our packet, from Jose Santos.
I don't know, is that?
Yeah, I just got it too.
If you can forward it
It
to me.
just came in.
If I'm not on it, or one of us is not on the email, if it can be forwarded.
Yeah, it should be part of the packet.
Right.
Especially if we're gonna continue, yeah.
Yep, if you forward it to me, it will be in your packet.
I can do that.
Updated material.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, since
Yeah.
you opened the door to some type of a deed restriction with respect to renting on this, and seeing that you're open to at least having that conversation with your client, one of the things I'm curious about is if, when this is a home that is to be built for your parents, Ms. J?
Correct.
And they're currently living in Virginia, and this is gonna be their retirement place. When do they plan to land? I'd be interested in knowing that when you come back.
When do they plan to move?
Land, yes.
They have been ready to move since 2021 when they sold their house.
So as soon as this gets a certificate of occupancy, they'd be here?
They will be here.
We currently have stuff in storage here.
Jerry, you all set?
Well, I just want to comment on the 50 years they lived there. To me, that's a very big deal. So any type of concessions on far, I think would go a long way.
And a reason for the family rooms, we have a large family. We've been coming down for 50 years.
And they still
And-
come.
Yeah, I mean, and they come in, since I've owned it in '06, I have not rented it. And it was my choice. I chose not to. I didn't want to deal with rental property. So it's a family residence, and it's something that I'm gonna pass down to my family.
I appreciate what you're saying. I have 3 boys, but I have 15 other kids that live in my house, which is a 3-bedroom ranch. Kate, Tom, do you have anything to add?
That's it?
Do we have anything from the abutters or neighbors or anybody wants to ask? Mr. Ferranti, would you come identify yourself,
His
please?
letter isn't in here.
What's that?
He wrote a letter too.
Yeah.
It's not part
I
of it.
haven't seen it, I haven't received it.
I'll give
I
that to you
I
as
hate to
well.
be the bearer of the bad news, but as a concerned neighbor, I do agree with the board that it's a little excessive, 100%. Mr. Cherry's been a good neighbor. I know I hope he wants to come down there. I hope everything's fine with that. But, part of the reason is we've had 2 other houses similar. It's a 50 by 100 lot, and it's going up to, 35 feet. And those 2 have kind of been an eyesore in the neighborhood. They're Airbnbs now. I realize he wants to maybe come down and put roots down. That's admirable. But it's just too big of a house. I think they could be accomplished what they want to do in something smaller. I'm diagonally across the street. It's going to be higher. It might affect some of my water view. It's going to affect some of my view to the water. Realize that. I don't know. I'm not saying that's not a reason, but that could be happening. But it's an excessive ask, and I know he's been there through all the tribulations of what happened, but we can't go back. You got to go with what's forward. And if you look around the town at some of the buildings that have been built with the bulk zoning, they fit the neighborhood a little bit better. There's no doubt about that. I have half a dozen addresses, so let's not forget about what the accomplishment was trying to get. People get caught in the middle. They want to come down. They finally want to get down here. They want to build the Taj Mahal. It's my family house. They want to build as big as they can. Well, Narragansett has to look out for not just them, but the whole town, and what happens to this whole town. Unfortunately, we wish we could get more people that have roots down here. I just think personally that it's just too much for the lot itself. You can make all kinds of concessions, say they're gonna live there and all of that stuff. I get it, but I think something else can be accomplished to meet the goals. And I feel awful, saying this, Chris, and Chris, I know you too, but that's just the way I feel in this town.
Thank you.
And we've been through a lot, so thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, all right. So, Counselor, you want to come back?
We do.
Okay, and I was going to give you that option anyway.
Thank you.
Understand that we just talked to you about things. We've committed to nothing. So what you come back with gets reviewed on its own, okay? But you've heard some of the things. 100, I mean, when I say it's a huge number compared to what we've been asked in the past, it's way beyond huge. So, we need to make a motion.
So moved.
Hold on. Rupert wants to say, somebody makes a motion. These poor people that have been standing here all night.
Yeah. He made the motion.
All right, seconded.
I'll second it.
All those in
Are we
favor?
conti- I'm sorry.
Wait,
The continue to a date of their choice. No, wait a minute, no, we're on the clock. Hold on, sorry, we're on the clock.
No, Mr. Chairman, you're not on the clock, but a date of their choice, it gets tricky if it would be when the information comes
Comes
in and
in.
the town has, and the
Right.
staff has the ability to review it.
Right, I mean, that's what I meant. So, when, Counselor, you'll get together with staff, determine a date, and then schedule.
Okay, yeah, we think March would be terrific.
We would ask for the information
By March 5th.
by March 5th in order to be able to review and update a report.
Can I confirm that tomorrow?
I'd rather.
I need to talk to,
Yeah.
like.
So there's no
design
date,
stuff.
this isn't a public hearing,
No.
we can't make March,
Okay.
move to
Yeah.
April.
Yeah, it's flexible, and we want to do it right. We don't want to do it rushed.
Exactly.
Okay?
We'll contact Ms. Sabo, we'll get it.
Dynamite. Thank you
Much
very much. You
appreciated.
guys did a
Thank
great
you.
job. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. Okay? Right. Up.
Did you make a motion, Mr. Chairman?
Yeah, we did.
I did it.
Who made, Doc made the motion, who seconded the motion?
I second it.
Jerry seconded. One of the two. They're twins.
One thing. I'll give it to Jerry.
Thank you.
Counselor, you're regretting showing up tonight? We're not pretty, but we try to get things done the right way, so. All right, so, next, okay. Batista, Tax Assessors Plat NS, Lot 495, 0 Namcook Road. Existing conditions, Lot 495 is approximately 6,802 square feet in size and is located in RS20 zone. The property is currently vacant. Proposal, construct a 25 by 36, 3-story, 4-floor, 3-bedroom, single-family dwelling with a 4 by 6 covered front entry porch, an 8 by 18 third-floor covered porch, a 3 by 13 4th-floor balcony, and a multi-tiered rear yard landing with stairs. Installation of a 3-bedroom on-site septic in the rear yard. Proposed building lot covers approximately 825 square feet, or 12%. Dimensional relief is 4 feet 4 inches building height. Other than that, everything seems to comply. I believe proposed parking areas complies. Okay. Not to steal your thunder, I do a Reader's Digest, and I just aged myself because half people are like, what's that Reader's Digest? Counselor, not to imply that you know what a Reader's Digest, I understand how young you are.
I
so.
don't know, you do. I'm a year and a half away from
Yeah.
Medicare, so I'm not that good. I had a lifelong subscription to Reader's.
No, my father had the hardbound copies
Yeah, well,
in the library.
I had those in
Yep.
the 70s, 50s.
Yeah, 70s, yeah, very much so. Counselor, introduce yourself, let us talk about your role and talk about what the project is.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Patrick Doherty, Doherty and Associates Law Inc., on behalf of the applicant John Batista. I am so happy to tell you that I'm not here trying to build a 7,000 square foot house.
Does that mean he's not charging you guys?
But what I would like to say, this is a very, very modest proposal for relief. If this had been a year and 2 months prior, we wouldn't even be here because it's fully conforming with the dimensions that were in effect prior to the town council changing them to try and get away from the 15% discretion that was granted by state law. We would ordinarily have been granted the discretion if it weren't for one letter of objection And I think it's important to point out the two concerns that were identified in that letter, just for purposes of the board's purview in reviewing this. And one is that there was no room to build a septic system. Well, that's not true, because we've already received DEM approval for the OWTS system that will be on the site here as evidence there, and by the documents that are in the file. In addition, it talks about we take away our view of Bonnet Shores Beach and the ocean. And there, that's not a ground for denial of relief under zoning law in the state of Rhode Island. There's no right or entitlement to a view or to anything of that sort unless there is an easement in place, which there is not. So again, the relief that's sought is 4 feet 4 inches. It's under 35 feet. It wouldn't have triggered anything had we been here a year and 2 months ago. I know there are 3 other applications behind me. I like your Reader's Digest summary of that. But just to go, again, it is an undersized lot of record. The size of the structure is in keeping with the character of the neighborhood. We are in the process of compiling another analysis, a neighborhood analysis, but all indications are that this clearly does not take away from the existing character of the neighborhood. All the setbacks are complied with. The FAR, thank God, the FAR is not an issue in this case whatsoever. It's a very, very simple, straightforward application for relief. We're just looking to add 4 feet and 4 inches to the 30-foot maximum height that was implicated by the change to the zoning ordinance, just in an attempt to take away that 15% discretion. So unfortunately, Mr. Batista's plans and whatnot just fell a little bit short in being able to get in under the wire. But again, I'm here to answer any questions. I don't want to belabor the point. I think the staff report very adequately and succinctly summed up the relief and the issues pertaining to the property. I think it's clearly within the goals and within the confines of the comprehensive plan. And I believe that all the standards can very easily be met. If you want me to argue them, I can do that. But again, I prefer more to hear the board's comments, because this is an advisory opinion to the zoning board. And if there are any concerns that the board has here, I'd like to hear them so that we can take any steps to mitigate anything of those concerns.
Dr. O'Neill?
Staff, you keep mentioning this as a 3-story structure.
3-story?
That's what it says here.
3 stories, 4 floors.
Yeah. Well,
4
I mean,
floors,
by
but
definition,
3
3
stories.
stories is 35 feet, isn't it?
Hmm?
By definition, I think 3 stories is for 34 feet, 35 feet. So, but it is 4 floors, yes.
It's new math. It's the kids.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
the a couple difficulties. So you have a three-bedroom system, and you have the den, which you've heard the discussion here a few minutes ago. The den equates with a bedroom, as far as I'm concerned. So that's a question in terms of the adequacy of the on-site treatment system. And then to go up to that top floor, that's, you know, we were talking earlier about how short a time things can be converted. That, quote, unheated space, you can plug in electric heat there in a matter of hours, and that's a usable space year-round. So the idea of needing the height variance is troublesome to me, because that porch level there, the unheated enclosed covered porch that we're talking about here with a bathroom is, as far as I'm concerned, livable space very, very quickly. Or the next owner, maybe I should say it that way, the next owner would include that in livable space in a very, very brief period of time. So those are my concerns. How about starting with the den there? Looks like you want to open the space approaching the den so it's not used as a bedroom?
Yeah, that's correct. Ryan, would it be possible to get the floor plan up there for the den?
If you had town sewers, I wouldn't even bring it up, but obviously you don't.
Well, Dr. O'Neill, with all due respect, my client is only being granted the authority to have a 3-bedroom system. And if he's applying for relief to just construct this home, the board can put on the condition that it remain a 3-bedroom. Again, this board makes its report and recommendations to the zoning board, and the zoning board also grants relief. But if someone violates that, then it is an enforcement issue. My client is representing that this will be a den, and that's his absolute intent. And I don't mean to be sparring on this, but it is.
You've been here before. We're not talking about this owner, we're talking about the next owner here.
Sure.
So when we talk like this, I mean, it's nice that, you know, I believe these guys, that's what they want to do. But once you do that and you have a 3-bedroom system and you have adequacy for another bedroom in a community.
Pardon again, please.
In a community which, as we know, doubles or triples in the summer, any space that can be utilized for living is utilized in this community. So, I just, you know, I know what you're saying, and I'm not telling these people that they're trying to put one over on us, but that lot is constrained. The idea of a 3-bedroom system to handle more traffic is troublesome to me. And then back to that roof area, I don't understand why that's necessary if there's a height problem. Obviously, it's a nice addition, but and as I say, very quickly, maybe this owner is not going to do it. I understand that, what he's saying. But the next owner would do that on the weekend and convert that to living space year-round.
And that would be an offense. And I think it's important to note, though, the presence of the den itself doesn't really implicate the height in any way, shape, or form.
Those are two separate issues.
Yeah, oh no, I agree, but we're not seeking any relief or anything other than just the height. So,
26 feet.
and I understand your concerns. Believe me, I do. But how far can we go?
Yeah, so you don't want to talk about it, so we'll stop talking.
Oh no, I'd be happy to talk.
Stop. That's okay. Move on.
Next, Jerry?
I'm sorry, just taking it back there. You know, the dimensional relief was written to prevent 40 feet tall.
Exactly, yes.
So I don't have any problem with the dimensional relief. And all I can say about the den is this town has got a ton of dens and studies. You know, and it really is a problem. They're just too easily converted into a bedroom. You understand my
Oh,
position,
I
right?
totally understand.
And I do understand your position. It's about enforcement.
And also, it's about building a nice, welcoming home. I mean, the fact is, if you can fit this structure in all respects, with the setbacks, fall into conformity with everything except for the height, which is below what we have in effect, and which is below what the change in the ordinance was
Counselor,
promulgated.
you had me at a low.
Yes.
Great movie reference. Rupert?
Yeah, I have the same comments as Jerry as far as the height. I'm not concerned about the height. I am concerned about the extra rooms that, in my opinion, can easily be bedrooms. So, there was a house with a septic system in Bonnet with a septic system permit for 2 bedrooms. They came in to the town for sewer connection because the septic system failed when folks went out to look at the house. It had 5 bedrooms.
I got a call on that one.
Just within the last quarter of the year, as a matter of fact.
It rings a bell.
So, and in the couple years I've been on the planning board, there's lots of rooms that have been labeled dens or storage that have had beds in them.
Sure. No, I totally understand it. Again, the relief being requested doesn't even implicate it. And again, I think that someone would be foolish in this area, especially with the density of the neighborhood, to try and pack more into a septic system that isn't designed for that. That would bubble up, it would create problems.
Foolish, but the one that came before town.
Oh,
A couple months ago.
But I think they bought that like that, if it's the one I'm thinking about, or maybe another one's gonna come before you.
Don't know,
That's what they
but
do.
it didn't come before us, but it came for sewer.
Tom?
Nothing at this point.
Okay. I have a question to the owner. Are you living in this, or is this?
This is Mr.
No,
Batista.
I live in Narragansett now. I lived in Narragansett before. I built the house in Connecticut Road. I lived there from '91. Then I sold that and I moved. I have a house in Cranston too. I moved to Florida. Came back. I live in the Shore Club now, condo. So the intention is to sell the condo, obviously, and build a house here for me. My daughters both live in Massachusetts. They're my first grandchild. And that den-
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And the den was basically as for the children coming back from the beach, coming in the backyard, coming in through the basement as their playroom. That's where else would they be? I'm not gonna put them on the main floor. I spent it stands me over $800 for the slot.
You love them to an extent, I get it.
You know, I mean, there's limitations.
Can I ask you a question? This wall here,
Yep.
is this weight bearing? Is this structural?
Is that one structural?
Is this a lolly column here? Are these lolly columns or just measurements on the CAD?
I don't know.
CAD will usually indicate where a lolly column is going to go. My question is you want to make everybody real happy real fast. If you could back this wall up,
Yep.
and really just open this up so that,
Well, I
we
don't
get
want it to, the only thing is, coming into the foyer,
Yep.
it's like, you want something there as like.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying.
So it's not like, it just would look off.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not asking you.
And
to
that space there was, the building inspector, he told me what to do there.
Okay,
So what's there is what he suggested.
so he wants to divide here. All right, that's cool.
Yeah, he said put that there and just put a 4-foot cased opening and.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. Okay. I just wanted to note for the record that the staff noted that the surrounding roof heights were about 35 feet, and this is coming in at 34.6. Counselor, I really want to thank you, because usually you come in with stuff that's like, are you kidding me?
That's what I'm getting paid by.
Yeah, just to torment. So, so thank you, and that was a nice design. So, anybody from the neighborhood, any of others want to talk? These people in the back are like, can you just move this on? Staff, anything new?
Yes, I had a quick question. Staff just noticed it, and let's see if we can confirm, I suppose. The height of the roof, the pitch of the 4th floor appears to be 312. Is that correct?
It looks like a 312.
That's what it says on the plan.
Okay, I just want to make sure. We haven't spoken to the building official because we just noticed it, but in the ordinance it says that roof pitches that are below 412 require 26 feet instead of 30. In section 6.4, but in 11, is it 1118? Of chapter 1118, the modifications to dimensional relief.
I can't
There.
tell. Is that the roof of the covered
The
porch
covered
on the
porch,
top?
yeah.
Yeah.
So what we'd like to, you can move forward as you choose,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
the board. We can just confirm with Wayne tomorrow.
Yeah.
We just noticed it, Patrick.
Yeah.
We're just gonna go, oh,
We had a discussion
you
about
did,
that.
great.
I forgot what his.
Yeah, he might have had a
was.
reason,
Yeah.
right.
I
We
forget
just
exactly
noticed
what
it.
it was, but
Sure.
I know we talked about it and worked it out. It's been a while since.
Absolutely, we just
Okay.
didn't want to be remiss and not mention
Yeah.
it, in case it's a thing.
Yeah, I can follow up with the building official tomorrow.
All right. Okay. Doc, anything?
No, I think the neighbors will show up at the zoning.
Yeah.
The beautiful picture windows of those places, you know, behind you, that's not your concern, as was stated,
They could have bought the lot.
no, and we've said that.
And they're in a nice position, they still can go up on their houses.
Yeah, and we've said that to people here, but you don't own that,
Yeah.
you know, so, a view is a view, you know.
People like to control things, even if it's not
I
theirs.
get it, I understand it, you know, and, I mean, it's, what are you supposed to do?
I think the reason that the house is as high as it is it's a postage stamp of a lot,
Yeah.
you know?
It wouldn't-
So,
yeah, it would've never-
15 feet on each side for setbacks, where, you know, the survey is gonna have a lot on the line when he comes and pins that foundation, because we're 15.1, I mean, we're really, it's not a big lot, so. He wants a nice man cave on the top. It'd be nice to, you know,
Kids
have
in the basement.
there's that little Juliet balcony for the sliders. to
Picture these
open.
grandkids.
This is gonna be peace and quiet for him.
I got you. Jerry, you all set?
I'm all set.
Rupert?
Best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Rupert?
Yeah, no, I'm fine. I guess I'm wondering, would you be okay with a stipulation in our finding that the den and the covered porch not be used for,
You mean the top
yeah,
porch?
not be used for
Absolutely,
bedrooms?
put in there, and you also could put in there, you can charge me, find me, whatever you wanna find me, that house will never be rented. That you can take to the bank.
Oh, deed restriction?
Take it to the bank, you can find me, put a number on it, I don't care, it's never gonna be rented.
It's the next owner.
Tom? Tom?
Well, the next owner will be my daughters.
There you go.
Good for you. And then the grandkids will take over the man cave.
Yeah, I mean, this is not something to, we grew up, my kids grew up in Bonnet Shores Beach. I've been coming down to Bonnet Shores since 1971. And I have all family down on Arnold Road. I know many people in Bonnet, and my kids grew up on the beach, and they love it. We're members of Bonnet, and they're gonna continue with their kids and everything. So that house is gonna be there long after everybody in this room's gone.
Walking distance for the kids to the beach?
I'm good.
You're good? All right, Counsel, you want to add anything?
Just thank you for your time, and we take into consideration all the comments that have been made, and I trust that, you know, my client is going to be a man of his word, and that the plans will be as described.
Staff, anything?
Nope.
Nope, okay. Do I have a motion?
Move the application before us, Batista Tax Assessor, Plat NS, Lot 495 is completed in conformance with town comprehensive plan.
Second on the motion?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Do I have a motion on the recommendations of zoning?
Move the application before us, Batista Tax Assessor, Plat NS, Lot 495, positively with the staff's comments, recommendations, etc., which you agreed to, right? The
Counsel,
staff's
you've
recommendation.
gone through these, you agree to?
With staff's recommendations, correspondence dated February 12, 2025. The additional recommendation or requirement of stating there'll be no occupancy of the fourth floor. I don't know how else to phrase that. No,
The den will not be a bedroom.
yeah, will not, yeah, but not a bedroom.
However, do I have a second on the motion?
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Do you need something with respect to the building inspector okaying the 412 up here or not?
No, I think it's just getting a confirmation that, that there was a conversation and somehow that 312 does not trigger the lower dimensional variance.
But if it does.
Dimensional height, if
If
it
it
does,
does,
it will go to zoning with
With-
that revised
yeah.
relief.
Ah, okay.
Good. Yeah, okay. All right, so we have a motion? We have a seconded?
I'll second that.
All right, all those in favor?
Rutherford seconded.
Hold it.
Oh, Rupert already?
All right.
Yeah.
That's the second time.
He does that.
He seconded the second.
It's like big brother, little brother thing. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Good luck, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good night.
So So you guys in the cheap seats, you're up.
Yeah.
So, I have, Rotella, Tax Assessors Plat S, Lot 51, 29 Burnside Avenue. The applicant is submitting a request to demolish an existing rear yard deck, construct a rear yard addition with an attached deck to the above referenced property. This project requires variances for dimensional regulations. Existing condition, Lot 51 is approximately 6,730 square feet in size and is located in an R10 zoning district. Existing 24 by 32 two-story, three-bedroom, single-family dwelling with a 9.5 by 21 front yard deck with stairs, 28 by 36 L-shaped deck, and a 7 by 12 shed. Existing building and lot coverage is approximately 1,604 square feet, or 23.8%. Proposal, demolish existing rear yard portion of the L-shaped deck. Construct a 16 by 32 two-story rear yard addition with an attached 11 by 36 rear yard deck. Increase dwelling from the 3-bedroom to 4-bedroom. Relocate rear yard shed to eastern side of the lot. Proposed building lot coverage will be approximately 1,938 square feet, or 28.8%. The project does not comply with dimensional regulations 6.4, as the front yard setback proposed is 16.1, 19.52 feet are required. Building height proposed is 34.6 feet, 30 is the max. And the floor area ratio is 0.33 or 2,220 square feet. 0.30 is the max. Proposed parking does meet the 800 square feet. So we have dimensional regulations, 3.42 front yard setback, 4.6 building height variance, 0.3 or 201 square foot floor area ratio variance. Staff notes that all relief being requested within this application would typically be allowed with an approved 15% modification. However, during the public notice period required for the zoning modification, an applicant received a written objection prompting their application before this board. Accurate?
Yes.
Sir, can you identify yourself and then state why you're here?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, my name is Anthony J. Bucci Jr. I represent the applicant, Mr. and Mrs. Rotella. They desire to renovate their existing house, single-family home, be owner-occupied. To do so on this substandard lot would be impractical without the relief that we're requesting. A lot of the things that I was going to discuss, you already mentioned in your summary of what we're looking for, so I won't repeat it. But I would like to say that currently, their house is the smallest house in the immediate area. It's 1,152 square feet. The house, 33 Burnside, directly to their left if you're facing straight on, is 3,500 square feet and 39.5 feet in height. The house immediately to the right is 2,400 square feet. The applicant proposes to build a 2,220 square foot home. So we believe that the relief requested is the least relief necessary to make the house livable for their purposes and their family. We note that the staff report mentions that we comply with the land use component of the comprehensive plan and that the renovation would not substantially alter the general character of the neighborhood because many houses in the neighborhood are already of that height and or size. In fact, most of the houses in the area are well above that size. So we would ask that you give a positive recommendation to the zoning board of review. And if you have any questions, we're happy to respond to them.
Dr. O'Neill?
Your extension of the structure is to the back, but there is, it's decking on the, be it what, the western side?
Yeah, east side, Burnside.
Yeah. So you're still not, what's the,
Here it is. You got buried under my
There,
stairs.
I'm buried. What's the distance, I'm a safety freak, you know, so one of those people. What's this distance here?
4'9".
That's existing.
Yeah, and this is less.
3.7.
So that can be corrected. You heard my spiel earlier, according to the fire marshal. They need at least 5 feet for somebody running with the safety, whatever that rescue pack is on their back with oxygen tanks, et cetera, to get around the structure. So you could,
Shave the deck?
yeah, shave that. I mean, obviously you're already compromised at that point, and this is already, this is being built. This part is being built. I mean, you can shave the deck here, but what about this?
It is a deck.
What's, yeah, right here you compromised, you've gone down further. What, this is what, 4 something you said?
4'9".
4'9", so you know this is less, this is the most 4. So, I would ask you to consider from a safety standpoint, the need for, obviously for the fire marshal's recommendation, and I think it's a good one. I mean, you know, the idea of when you're doing this, I mean, you can always modify things, you know. You haven't already done it, so you could do that from a safety standpoint. You got plenty of room over here. And the whole business, you may have heard me say this in the past, but in any case, the idea that, well, this is a open or a bush or a lawn, or it doesn't make any difference. When the chain link fence goes up, the person running in here, the fire equipment to get around to help you people, you know, you don't have to do that, so.
Can I mention something about that? I'm the owner, by the
Could
way.
you introduce
Yeah.
yourself, sir?
Kenneth Rotella.
Yeah.
And that space there is a kind of a sloped area between the 2 properties.
Yeah,
And it's wide open on the other side also, so even though our border is only 4 feet 9 inches and it goes down to 4'1", there is that extra area that is accessible between the 2 properties. It's probably a 10-foot, 15-foot area.
but you missed what I said.
Please?
You missed what I said.
What, the
When you have a
fence?
new neighbor over here, when you have the new neighbor over here, who
Yeah.
decides to put the chain link fence up here, you don't have that anymore.
Yep, okay,
So-
I understand.
So that, it's a safety thing.
Yeah, I understand. Okay.
Yep.
It's the position of the house and the foundation, the house is actually a second floor on top.
I don't think, the discussion isn't to move the house. The discussion is to pull that deck in off the corner to give.
I understand, but that.
Can you introduce yourself and please come up?
I'm Edward Baxter, the builder. That that's the new addition, correct? That foundation, there's actually a second floor going on that foundation. I would have to check with the engineer or the architect. I'm sure it's possible,
So-
you know?
So, that's a proposed deck.
Yeah, but from where the end of the foundation, the new foundation would be, it's 4'1".
So, I'm a little confused because, so, my understanding is that the house ended here and then this was the deck, the proposed deck.
That's, right there is the proposed deck, yeah.
Right.
But they're bumping out to the, was it 18 feet?
So you're taking the foundation and extending it to here?
No. We're,
You gave him a pointer. You have a pointer?
Yeah, you want a pointer? Here, give the man the power. Come on.
so existing dwelling, I believe, is here, correct? So we're adding the new addition.
Right.
And this would be the new deck.
Right.
But right here is 4'1".
Right, and what Dr. O'Neill is referencing, he understood that, but this gets really skinny.
Yeah, the
So
deck we could absolutely do
that's,
that, yeah.
that's what he was saying, can you pull this deck
Absolutely,
back?
yes, absolutely.
And that at least gives the width to come through. And this is the only thing the fire chief has really asked us about, is trying to get these guys through
Well,
here
we can cut that.
without having to climb over things, run around things. All right, thank you.
We understand that, sure.
Doc? Anything else?
No, I would ask you, why you have bigger homes around, your structure, why do you think the neighbors object?
You know, we don't know. The objections were just, we object, there was no substance to them. In fact, interestingly enough, the property that I pointed out at 33 Burnside, it's higher than us and way larger than us, even if we get to do the expansion. He was one of the objectors. So he's got a piece of property, 7 bedrooms, that he's renting out
To college students.
to college students.
All summer long.
And
Ours
he's
is gonna be a
objecting
single family.
to his proposal to build a single-family house for him and his family. So, I can't tell you why they object.
Yeah.
And we sent them a letter that they haven't responded to. I sent them a letter asking them to talk to us and see if there was any accommodations we could make, but I haven't heard from them.
He'll be at the zoning board.
Well, he's from out of state. Or maybe, maybe not.
Moving right along.
Okay, Jerry?
Well, I see that the application would have typically been allowed for the ordinance. The board is trying to avoid such dimensional regulations that bring it down to 1 or 2 feet. In this case, because it complied before, I don't have a problem. I'm okay.
I feel the same way. I feel like it's, you know, the 15% modification, and as you point out, it wouldn't be before us if it hadn't been a complaint or objection. And I mean, the height of the building is similar to this neighboring houses, so. The one thing I noticed, and actually on the drawing that drawing, I noticed wetlands in the backyard, so I think you'll need a DM wetlands permit.
We already did that.
Okay. Wasn't in our package.
Yeah, they approved a moat, because the water table was so high, so it's gonna be a moat system with vegetation.
Okay.
Wow. You need to be.
Did you get a drawbridge?
You need to be higher for a drawbridge than a castle.
That's what they came up with.
About time.
Tom?
You're going from 3 to 4 bedrooms, is that what it is?
Yes.
And as of now, this property is on Narragansett's rental registry. Has it been rented, has it been rented up until this point?
In the past.
In the past, but no, in the future, it's gonna be a single family residence. We're gonna be there spending, just time with the family there, owner occupied, yes.
Yeah, so you, I'm just.
Not we have a residence in Smithfield, so
Right.
we'll be going back and forth.
Right, so you're not planning to relocate to Narragansett, but you are planning essentially not to
Spending-
not to rent that property.
Nope, I don't
That's
think
good,
you're right.
make that kind of a renovation and want to rent
I'm
it
not
out.
gonna rent that and destroy it.
It's an overnight bag.
I would note that the important thing was that the staff pointed out that otherwise, without the letters, in our folders, we got 2 letters, both with the same
It's
surname.
basically the same property. I believe.
Same, one lives in North Situate, Rhode Island, the other in Richmond, Rhode Island, so they don't live here. And as you said, and I just want to go on the record, they simply said they object. They didn't give any reason or rationale for the objection.
So we reached out and they didn't respond.
Yeah, that's fine, it's not your responsibility, but I just wanted it on the record as to what it was, and that it wasn't multiple people, multiple owners, it was the same, I presume the same party. So, I have no problem with this. Anybody here from the public that want to say something? Oh, you just want to get that out of here. Yeah.
I'm with him.
I'm sorry. Staff, anything you want to add to this?
Not at this time.
Okay.
I would like to say the staff was very helpful and
Yes.
Thank you.
walked us through the process and told us
They
everything.
make it easy, don't they?
They did a
Thank
great
you for
job.
saying that.
Thank you.
So we'll move the
Town
application,
needs to hear that more.
Yeah.
we'll move the application before us for Tella Tax Assessor Plat S, Lot 51, is complete and in conformance with the town comprehensive plan.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All those in favor?
Are you sure?
Aye, aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, do I have a motion on a recommendation to zoning?
Move the application before us, Rotella, tax assessor, Plat S, Lot 51, positively, with the staff's comments, recommendations. The correspondence dated February 12th, 2025, and you've already seen the comments and suggestions from the staff, and you agree.
Yes.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, good luck.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Just as we've said to other people, be aware that they may not be here, but they'll probably come to zoning. Okay?
Here's one question with the deck. The deck is about 10 feet off the ground in the back.
Oh.
Now, if we cantilever it and push the poles in, would that be acceptable?
Yeah, I think that would work. Yeah, yeah, because that would give a clear turn.
Okay.
Yeah, no, great solution.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, it's just us.
All right.
Thank you, Steph.
All right, so approval of minutes.
Oh,
I'm just gonna defer to Rupert on this right away. Rupert,
Got big stuff going down.
Mr. Chairman.
thank you very much.
Members of the board, I have extensive comments and edits, and I suggest we move the minutes to the next meeting.
Do I have a second on that?
Work
All
with
of
Heidi.
them?
Work both of them, yeah. There's two, right?
There's no error on your part.
There's three. Can you say that again?
No, I want to say that. There is no error on the minutes. There is a request to add some substance to some areas that we feel needs to be put in the record, okay? So,
Just for clarification, all three sets of minutes?
if he can find something, he'll
Say yes.
just say yes. Rupert,
so
read
the
my
third-
lips, yes.
The answer is yes.
Okay.
Do I have a motion on moving the minutes to our next meeting?
So moved. Second.
Seconded and moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. All those opposed, it is aye. All right.
D1.
So, hold on, I'm missing something here. Okay. Liaison update from Coastal Access. And Jerry, you're going to be on the spot because we're going to need an update from you next. Then your reappointment will be next. Coastal Access. I have to tell you, it was one of those things where I really wanted to be on this, and it has been great. I feel like I've contributed a lot. What we've done is, rather than trying to do a lot of little things, which we're still covering, we've had some success at people adopting right-of-ways, but the big thing is a project, and the project is to identify right-of-ways in Narragansett, coastal access right-of-ways, and to create a GIS mapping system where people go in, click on a right-of-way, and what would come up would be whether or not it was private or neighborhood, so it would be restricted, and that would be the extent of it. If it is public access, it would open a window and let you know if there's parking and what kind of parking, if there's ADA compliant, or if there's accessibility, what amenities are there, what can be used for. There is a group within the state that has got a grant and funding, and they're looking to do it on the state level. They came to us and said, hey, you guys are a little ahead of us. We want to combine forces, and it's really taken on some energy. A lot of people in the state are watching it and looking to Narragansett for the next phase. So very proud of the work that this group does. It's a great group, really laid back, really want to do the right things the right way.
So what you're saying is that futuristically you can go online and go online, and if you're interested in like Great Island, where are the access areas? This is all going to be.
Yep.
when it's going to be spelled. I think that's wonderful, because we've touched on that here many times. People plant bushes and throw, any obstacles they can, so you can't tell if there's anything access as wise there, because they don't want, the neighbor kind of thing. No, I want those people, right, walking past my house. But no, that's great.
Yeah, and there's actually talk of, once it's established up and going, is to try to collect historic stuff and put a history behind some of the areas and stuff like that. So somebody coming to visit the area not only says, yeah, this is accessible and here's everything there, but here's some history behind it. So it's really been a rewarding project.
Chairman, you might look at, there's a website, Explorer-I, which was originally developed with boat launches statewide.
Okay.
And it has trails as well now, but originally it was a boat launch site. So, with details about parking there, a lot of information.
Nice.
More specific issue, CRMC did not approve the permit for the Wilson Drive piece, which is adjacent to a public way.
Yeah.
Is there any thought being given between either Coastal Access or Land Conservancy to acquire that property?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We've been waiting on that. Oh, yeah.
The property is
I have a
currently in
copy.
litigation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's in litigation.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it
Yes, forgive me. It's in litigation.
It's in litigation, we'll just leave it at that. Thanks. Thank you.
Okay.
I love that Josie. All right.
Still very green.
No, I'm not gonna close, I'm gonna go around to the board members. Anybody have anything they wanna add or anything? Doc?
Well, I want to ask, did I see from our email that attempted 20-unit development in the north end along Old Boston, we lost in court?
Our appeal of the overturn was not, yes, was not.
So the answer is yes.
So,
The appeal was denied.
The appeal was denied.
So meaning that the developer then can
The
continue
meaning that
to
the developer now
pursue-
comes in for preliminary plan.
So we have to have that hearing
You will
On-
eventually have that hearing, yes.
on the basis of what has been decided legally.
Well,
They have the right then to come before us
they have the right to
and
come
continue
before
the
you.
presentation. Okay.
Correct,
Yeah, you started it.
yes, they do. At preliminary, they need to have all of their ducks in a row. They need to have everything ready to go, all their permits in hand.
Yeah, the person to your left may have more comment
Yeah.
on this, but I would think there's a lot of money along that road. I can't believe that's over.
It's not over, Dr. O'Neill.
We're not gonna comment on that.
No, it's not over. It's coming back for preliminary plans. So when it comes back,
Yeah, to come back here, but I'm just surprised that, yeah, it's been defeated at this level and that level, but I would think the Supreme Court has wonderful things, I hear. I'm sorry.
I don't think.
I'm making light of it.
I don't think it's over yet.
no, it will come back for preliminary approval. So you'll hear it again
And
when
the-
it
and the
when it
neighbors
comes
will get a
back.
shot
And
at it again.
they need, yeah, they need to perform in certain criteria in order to get before you again.
Mhm.
So I'm
But-
sure they're working on that.
But in fact, the master plan is essentially deemed approved, and they have vested rights as a result of that?
Provided, Mr. Callahan, that they can receive the approvals that they need to build what they propose to build at master plan. So it may come to light that when all of those approvals are in hand, that in fact they can't, or they can, we don't know.
But they are vested in some way, shape, or form as a result of that.
I'll leave that up to
Yeah,
legal.
I also just, not to cut it off, I just don't wanna go too far. It's not an
Thank you.
agenda item, so we should,
I was getting
we
nervous.
shouldn't be discussing it. Albeit pertinent because it was circulated to you folks by email. So I think for tonight's purposes, it's likely that it'll come before you at a different stage than what it was, and then we can take it up then.
So, would it or would it not be appropriate for this board to put it on the agenda for an executive session? To understand to understand exactly where we are, what we got.
Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea.
Just to clarify what the decision is and where does that leave us?
Right, yeah, not a bad idea.
I think that's a good idea.
That's fine.
So would that be an executive session on the next agenda?
Yes.
Yes.
And it might be constructive because futuristically, we may learn something from what we got to or how we got there, that maybe we can avoid pitfalls or something in the future, you know, so.
Can we keep you, by the way?
If you'd like.
Light. Mark
There's
Light.
one, I got one.
Mark Light. All right, Jerry?
Okay, a liaison from the land trust, let me tell you, let me bring you up to date. We just finished the Middlebridge plan, and I think that's off. Jill, right, is the management plan off to the town council?
Middlebridge.
Middlebridge.
I'm sorry, is the Middlebridge management plan,
We completed it, it's off to the council now, it's not on the agenda yet, but it's
the
done.
Middlebridge management plan is on your land
Trust.
conservancy agenda tomorrow
For
for approval.
final approval.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing I want to talk about, which is pretty exciting, is conservation land. We have two promising properties. And I want you to go like this, if I go too far, Jill. Both of them, what we like about them is they're easements, so the cost is not prohibitive.
Nice.
We can conserve the land without really owning it. One actually has a possibility for working together with the Affordable Housing Trust and to put a couple houses on it. So that's really promising.
That's great.
What I was hoping to get,
Are those permanent easements? I mean,
well, it's a good segue into my next comment. You know, I attend the Affordable Housing, I attend the Planning Board and the Land Trust, and there's a common thread with easements. Always comes up. Somebody wants to build on lands that hold an easement. Last night it came up, Jim Durkin brought it up. I think we need the solicitor to go through all the easements in town and make a decision on what is legal, what we can do, and what we cannot do. Yeah.
We'll take a deep dive into the land evidence records, and some of the easements that are purported easements may not even be there.
Is that
They
right?
may not even be recorded, that's a.
You know, Middlebridge is coming up now because they make, you know, again, last night it was brought up as for affordable housing. And there's talk now also of an outbuilding for you or I to convert the canvas building, go like this, am I right? There's talk of
You've already
putting
died 3 times.
a large.
Gets himself in trouble.
Hey, if she goes like this, stop.
So, you know, in the past, our previous chair has took a stand and said, it's not that we won't allow it, we can't allow it. And that's what we need confirmation on. I think that would be just a great help, and that's all I have.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Rupert, you want to add anything? Tom?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. Staff, you want to add anything?
How about Amanda?
I was about to say, Amanda, welcome.
This was
Have
wonderful.
we scared you off?
Not at all.
So insanity runs rampant in your family, is what you're saying?
Hi.
Hey, it works for me. Thank you. Council, thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Seconded.
Second,
Non-debatable, my favorite part.
I'll table it.
All those in favor?
All right.
All those opposed? All right. Hey, guy,